Hello, everybody. Happy Friday, everybody. It's Dallas Trading Floor, and the week has been an interesting one. It looks like we got a bounce on the the Nasdaq and on the S&P, and so it looks like we're in a confirmed uptrend. At least that's what that's what it's saying. We'll see exactly tomorrow exactly what's gonna transpire here, but it looks as if we are in a confirmed uptrend. So that is indeed a good thing. Well, the Nasdaq closed up 3.3%, and the S&P gained about 3.1. So, and the Dow was up too. Dow was up too. 2.7. So really kind of strong, kind of a reaction. Now, I am of the impression, and I don't, again, I don't have any franchise on on truth, that's for sure. But I do think this is going to be short-lived. I think I think this is a relief rally. But right now, we are in an uptrend. So, I'm completely I'm completely in cash, believe it or not. Uh, and I'm short, so go figure. I thought I had outsmarted things, but I got pushed out of my oil stocks. That's all I had left. And then basically I got, I'm back in the market, but not. I'd like to be in the market more than I am. Just kind of running down the indexes. The Dow Jones was up about 2.69%. S&P 500, 3 point. Gosh, wondering what what is wrong with my system. But we're still back here, so let's pull the slides back up. There we go. All right, and for some reason it kind of failed on me, but let's go back to the indexes. And basically, Nasdaq is also up 3.34%. Russell's up too. That's up more significantly. And so very interesting stuff. Kind of want to run down my short positions. Currently, I don't have any long positions. I'm totally out of the market. I'm all in cash. But I do have short positions. They're all bear put spreads. And I definitely do have those. And so kind of let's run down those a little bit. I'm off on Hershey. Gosh. I'm off on Palo Alto Networks. I'm off on Starbucks. I'm off on Costco and off on Bill.com. I'm 3 for 3 down. Ouch. What I'm going to do with these is I do think eventually they're going to move lower, but for right now I'm going to hold on to them, and then if I get another chance, we're going to probably roll them out, or we'll see what happens. We've got a fair amount of time on some of these bear put spreads, but obviously I don't recommend anybody entering these at this time. But these are the ones I have, and I'm off on all of them. So not the best look there, not the best look, that's for sure, on that. So you take the good with the bad. So let's get to some of the questions here, really quick. And so the first one's from Lisa. Thank you so very, very much, Lisa. Always thank you for coming by. Thank you for taking a look at the show. Hello, Jim. This rally scared me because of holding bear trades. Well, it kind of scared me too. I mean, I still haven't given up on the bear trades. I may have to adjust them, but we definitely have a rally. I think this is a relief rally to be fully honest on this one. I do think this is a relief rally. But you never can tell. Let's take a look at the Nasdaq Composite. And see kind of what how that one fared up today. This is the Nasdaq Composite. And let's get over there. Hopefully this will work. Gosh, I've been having so many technical problems. It's not funny. Here we go. Here's the Nasdaq Composite. We've been in this downward trend. here. We rallied, downward trend, and then we rallied, and then we're down again, which I thought this would continue down, and then we have this this rally up. But here's the thing. I'm not totally sure this is a bottom. This is a W pattern, but I'm not sure this is a bottom. I think it's gonna roll over. I hope it doesn't, but I hope it moves up from here. But I think it's going to roll over. It has definitely gone above the 21-day line. This is, of course, the NASDAQ composite here. This has gone above the 21-day line. So who knows? But I do think that we're probably going to see some we're going to see some strength. Now I wouldn't go out and buy. I would wait for the setups. I mean, I think that I do see people buying stuff off the bottom, and that's not something I typically like to do. I like to buy stuff in an upward trend, but there are people that are buying. There are people buying stuff that is moving lower. I mean, and it's pretty amazing to me. But I'm seeing it. Let's take a look at snow, because that's one of the ones that I was, I've been looking at potentially as a short. But not, but it definitely was up today. So a lot of people are buying, stuff off the bottom. I'm not ready to buy off the bottom. I want to find a good setup before I buy, but definitely strong. Look at this. Look at this strong action here. Very strong action coming up to the 50-day line. Now the question is, will it move above that 50-day line, or is that the limit? I believe, and you can see it's starting to come off a little bit, but this is after hours, so it doesn't really count. I do believe that we're going to see it test here, and we'll see if it goes lower. But I mean, look at this stock. I mean, this is a Snowflake here, all-time high 405. Currently, it's 151. So it's significantly off. So there's some definite bottom fishing going on out there. Another one I want to look at for a bottom fishing action is Datadog, DDOG. This is one I was looking to short. I'm glad I didn't do it. Same kind of action. I don't know if these are short squeezes or what's going on here, but definitely it's coming up, and we'll see if it's just testing the 50-day line, or not. We'll just see. I mean, I can't tell you what's going to happen there, but definitely, there's definitely some bottom fishing going on, and I don't know if I want to put my rod in the water right now, because I'm afraid of getting it snapped off. But hard one to trade, I can tell you that. In terms of demand destruction, will this uptrend last? Well, I can't see how it would, but I have been wrong. I've been wrong quite a few times on this, so I'm still kind of scratching my head on this one. I do think that this is a relief rally, though. I really can't see it any other way, just because I can't see it. I just can't see it doing anything else than that, because we've had this leg down. Let's take a look at the chart on the S&P, and again, it came down here. This is the S&P small cap. Comes down, rallies, and it looks like a relief rally to me. But who can say? I mean, who can say? Let's look at the Dow. That's the one that really, because Boeing was up today. And that was another one that had been falling and falling and falling. This is the Dow Jones Composite here. And by the way, what that means when you say there's actually two Dow indexes. There's the transportations and the industrials. Excuse me. And the composite is the combination of both. There's only 30 stocks in the Dow Jones Industrial, so it's not that many stocks. But on the Dow Jones Composite, again, we've taken this leg down, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4 days. So this looks like a fall through day, and it looks like a rally. So the question is this rally going to continue further up? My guess is it's gonna come up possibly to the 21-day line in reverse, but who knows? I mean, who knows? This is such a screwy thing with the interest rates and everything. I can't see in this environment, with inflation raging like it is, that that we're going to have a massive uptrend. I can't see it, because eventually you have to have profits, but there you go. So I can't I can't give you a good idea on how long it's going to last, but I do believe it's going to move up to here. So I maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. But I don't think this is long term. I just don't think this is long term, because, I'm looking at this, and it topped. The market, the market has been making lower low. See, since November, this was really the key. This is sort of where it topped. This is where the market topped, and then it's been rallying, but it's been rallying lower. As you can see, it's kind of been rallying lower. So that's the low, that's the high, that's the high, that's the high, that's the high. And so I suspect what's going to happen is it's going to rally probably to this line here. That's the 50-day line. Now let's see where that line is. Let's see. Okay, the market volatility. Yeah, I think it's gonna rally up close to the 50-day line. That's what I'm saying. That's about 11,000 on the composite Dow. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. But it's anybody's guess in this market right now. Wow. All right, let's review. Thanks, Charles. Datadog. Let's look at Datadog again. Datadog. And this one, again, I was getting ready to pull the trigger on this. I didn't do it. I'm glad I didn't. But this has come right up to the 50-day line. And if you'll notice, that's kind of been since it crossed below the 200-day, that's kind of been the thing. It came up to the 50 here. Actually, it's a little above it, and then it came up to the 50 here. So I suspect it's going to make another rally, and it came up here. So 1, 2, 3 times, it basically before, but twice after it pulled below the 200-day. So I suspect, I think it's going to get resistance here. But again, let me see if I'm all wet or not. But let's see if it is going to get. So basically, we're right at, we're 3% below the pivot from 234 days ago. So basically, the last pivot was way, way back, all the way back here. That was the last pivot. So it's definitely, that is the ceiling, I think. That's my guess anyways, but who knows? So I'm looking at the price where I think it's going to end up with resistance. This is on Datadog here. Is it about 110? That's what, and it's at 107. So I do think, I think that this is probably going to go up a little bit further, but I think that 110 may be a good shorting point. Now, why am I saying shorting? Well, because I don't believe the market. I think this is a relief rally, and I don't believe the market is in an upward trend. I don't think it's turned the corner. And the reason I don't think it's turned the corner, at least on Datadog, is because this 200-day line is pointing downward, and that typically indicates that people are selling. That's what that indicates. Let's look at the ownership on this. This is what's really interesting me now, is the ownership going up or down? Well, it's definitely going up. So they must know something that I don't. So I don't know. That's a very good question. I just have to be very should we jump into oil? I would, normally I would say, yeah, we should, but I'm not so sure right now. Let's look at the XLE. There was a lot of put activity on the XLE that somebody in the Discord room was bringing up, and it's real interesting. There was a lot of put activity, which says to me they're expecting it to fall more, which I don't know, and really the XLE is really ExxonMobil and Chevron. That's really the main components of it. So the XLE has come down, and it's it seems to be getting some support right about here. This is a consolidation. So it seems that it may, from what I'm looking at here, this may actually reverse and go higher. Why? Because it seems as if we're getting, this seems to be a floor. I mean, this is a floor back here. It's 70, 71, pretty much the same. And it looks like it's a floor there. So it does look like, at least in the short term, the XLE may be buyable. So the question is, should you go and do oil stocks? Well, I think individual oil stocks, you might want to look at doing the spider, because individual ones I'm not so sure, but I do think that at least in this short-term rally, we should see this go up. I mean, it went up today and it's up after hours. So I would say that the XLE may be viable on Monday. We'll see how it trades, but I may be buying this on Monday. Hopefully not for the wrong reasons, but I think the XLE may be reversing. And now I'm not in it right now, so I can't give you, this is not a recommendation to buy or anything, but I think this may be reversing higher, at least for this rally. And I think we may be rallying. We may be rallying this week. Maybe 2 weeks. So, these uptrends are tough to time, but I do think that we're probably going to see the market move up for about the next 2 weeks, and this might be a way to play that. Why am I saying that? Well, that's kind of the history of the XLE. I mean, it comes down here to about 70, and then it moves up, and then it comes up here to the top of the consolidation, which is about 80, and then at least it found resistance. Now it broke out and went all the way up here to 93, but then it's fallen. So I think it's back in this range, this consolidation here, from about 70 to 80. So I think you might be able to get a little bit of action there up to about 80. Who knows? So I do think that it is possible to buy it, but look at this relative strength. See, this is another thing. I normally like to see relative strength lines pointing upwards, not downwards. Now, of course, we haven't. This is just started to reverse, so we may get a reversal on this. And if we do, on Monday, that might be a signal, because right now, it's the relative strength line that's gonna show the way. So I can't give you a clear answer on if oil stocks are ready to go. I'm probably going to wait until Monday just to see how it trades, because I can't give you a good answer on that, and I wish I could. All right, strategy of selling, call buying, put buying. That's not a bad idea. On you could do it on ExxonMobil. Now, one of the things is, because XOM is one of the largest components, obviously, of the spider, but it's probably better to own the actual stock. It does look like we did have an update. The question is it reversing and moving higher? I'm not sure, because it definitely has tested. See, that's tested there twice. It's tested right on the 50-day line, and it's tested on that 50-day line. Now the question is, you tested this, but it pulled way down. So, boy, I think you're probably better off with the index, the XLE. But, I want to see how things are trading on Monday. I really, really do. All right, let's look at Amazon. This is coming from TikTok. Thank you so much. AMZN. And again, I was looking for this one as a short. I'm glad I didn't short it. But it does look like it is trending higher, and it's trending up to the 50-day line. Now, if I were a betting man, which I probably am, I would be looking at a reversal line like this, and it looks as if it has moved it looks like, at least for right now, it is it is moving above this reversal line. So the question is, on Monday, will it move above this reversal line? If it does, then the trend may have changed. I mean, the trend may have changed to the upside. One thing I am seeing on Amazon is I'm seeing the relative strength indicator in an upward position, and that typically means that it is gaining relative strength. You always want to buy something as it's gaining relative strength. So, I don't like to buy stocks below the 200-day line, but pretty much everything is below the 200-day line right now. So, I don't think I would buy it here, but I would definitely watch it here. I wouldn't short it. I wouldn't short this one because it looks like it's going to reverse. I don't think that I would short this one. But, but Amazon, it may, if it can move above that 50-day line and then eventually above that 200-day line, if it moves up, to about 155, it's still a long way to go. It definitely will have reversed, but right now it's just barely, it's still in a downward trend. And then it looks like it has possibly reversed. So here's what I would do with Amazon. I would be very careful with Amazon right now, but I would watch list this one. I really, really would. I would watch list Amazon, AMZN, because I think it may have reversed, but I wouldn't buy it here. I just wouldn't buy Amazon here, but I would watch list this one. So again, a very non-committal answer from me, which is not typical. SPX will test 4,000, and then we make new lows. Good, yeah, okay. You're talking about the spider. Let's look at the spider. Okay, so for everybody out there, the SPY is the ETF that covers the S&P 500. So all the S&P stocks are in the spider. It is an ETF. So if you want to buy the entire index, you could definitely do that, and that's why we always talk about the spider all the time, because it is the S&P 500 ETF, and it is definitely reversed. But the question is it going to hold it? And let's draw a new let's draw a new reversal line, because it did have this double bottom. This is the current reversal line. And what am I doing here? Well, I'm going from the higher, the intermediate higher high. This is the high. This is the all-time high here, and then this is the intermediate higher high. This is the secondary higher high. So we have two data points. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to set an alert on this line, and what that does is that shows me, is the stock trending lower, or has it reversed and moved higher? Well, it's still trending lower, even though it was up. And this is the S&P 500. So again, this is why I think that it might be a short rally. It's probably, I think the questioner is right. I think it's going to come up here, possibly to as high as 400, or up to the 50-day line. But then I think it's going to reverse lower, because that's kind of how it works in a downturn like this. But currently, the 50-day line is at 405 on the spider. So if it moves up to 405, and then it's very likely to reverse at that point. Now, if it can move above 405, obviously, it's going to continue its upward trend, and then it's then it has reversed and it's moving higher. But until it gets to 405, and currently it's at 389, it's still in a downward trend, even though we had some up days, and we had a big up day today. So it may be reversing higher, but right now it just isn't viable until it moves above about 405, I think, where the 50-day line is. So it's, again, just very tough market. I'm just kind of sitting on the sidelines waiting for, some strong signals. I'm trying to find some strong signals here. And I'm just waiting until I get something that's, that I think is a little bit stronger, better pattern. So that's kind of what I'm doing. All right, Apple, same chart. Let's take a look at Apple too, because Apple really is the bellwether stock for the Nasdaq. It is the largest. I guess Saudi Aramco is bigger in total capitalization, but Apple is just huge. I think it's the largest stock by capitalization outside of Saudi Aramco. And this one again, now, Apple has been weak as of late. We did have it cross the 40-day cross below the 200-day, and that caused it obviously to move lower. You can see how that predicted it. See, of course, the problem is you can see it clearly when you're looking backwards, but when it's happening, it's tough. That's why when the 40-day gets close to the 200-day, that's why I'm very interested, because typically that indicates weakness, and that's definitely been the case with Apple. Now, it has moved above the 21-day line. So here's the kind of thing I think that might happen. If you'll notice in this downward trend, when we were moving up on Apple, you notice how it stayed above the 10-day line? I don't know if you can see this, but it stayed above the 10-day line. But then when it reversed here at 179 and moved lower, it's pretty much stayed below that 21-day line. That's this green line here. And it stayed below it. It rallied, and then it went down, and then it's rallied. So my guess, looking at this chart, is that we're going to, unless we see a lot more strength, I think that the thing is going to reverse lower. I mean, that's what I'm looking at. I mean, looking at the chart now, this is really, really, really technical here. But if you'll notice, the relative strength on this is a 63, and the relative strength line is pointed down. And that says to me that it is getting resistance here. So my guess is we're going to see another leg down on Apple. So so that's why I'm drawing this reversal line here. There we go. There we go. Okay, so this is the reversal line, and it's just come up to it. Now we'll see if it can move above this, obviously. Then we may have reversed and moving higher. But currently we're in a downward trend on Apple, even with the good day today. So very similar to very similar to Amazon in that sense. So very tough market to play. You just kind of look at it and you go, wow, where can we get in? Can we please do a Tesla analysis? This is coming also from TikTok. Thank you so much. Let's look at Tesla. TSLA. And of course, Elon Musk put out that warning about how they're burning cash, which doesn't. That's not, for me, that's not a great thing. But it was up today quite a bit, basically up almost 5%, 4.52%. Tesla went up today, but then after hours it's starting to see some weakness. So the question is, have we shaken off this trend? So I'm going to draw a reversal line here, and I still think we're in a downward trend on Tesla. I still think we're on a downward trend on Tesla, believe it or not. But it is coming up to the reversal line. If it can move higher, that would be a great thing. Here's the problem with Tesla, though. Anytime Tesla comes up above about 680, and we're now a little bit above 680, it runs into all of this overhead supply. And what that is that there's a lot of people that bought here north of about 680, and every time it rallies like this, they're like, well, good time to sell. So I would be surprised if we didn't get some selling coming in here, because again, it's rallying. This is going to give the bigger institutions a chance to unload some stock. So I would be very careful about buying Tesla here. Why? Because I don't think it's fully based out. I don't think that these people that bought it back here are, I think they're going to sell when they get a chance and it comes up above about 680. That's where I'm seeing it anyways. So with Tesla too, I would be just very, very careful, and I wouldn't be a seller here. I just watch this. Let's see if it reverses higher. If it does, then we can possibly take a look at it. But right now, I just think you got to watch it. You just got to watch and let the train go without you, because I don't see it really being. I don't think it's really viable right now. That's just my opinion. I guess I'm a little bit gun shy. That's the thing. Inflation is due out in the next week. Second quarter's earnings coming up. I hope the inflation is going down. I really do, but I'm afraid. I'm afraid inflation isn't going down. I'm afraid because we're going to get hit with even more inflation. So I'm real leery about buying long here. I'm just, I want to, I'm leery about it. I'll be honest with you. Now, if you want to go long, maybe the best way to play it is not with the individual stocks, is with indexes like the XLE. I might buy the XLE and then sell it before the inflation data comes out. But I can't tell you. I can't. Individual stocks right now. I just want to see if I can get an edge. Right now, I don't have as much of an edge as I'd like. So I'm a little bit. I'm sitting on my hands. I'm saying, well, I would love to buy something, and I'm sitting in all this cash, but I don't want to buy because I don't have an edge, and at least I can't find one. But I'm looking. Align. Yeah. Okay. Okay, our Align, let's, here's the thing. Here's part of the reason I think that, you're right about Align. Let's take a look at a poster child for a great stock to short. Now, I did short this earlier in the year, was Peloton. And look at this bad boy. It is like terrible. It's down to $10. And this was a great one to short. It was 130 back here, back basically in January. So wow, it's gone down a lot. But Align kind of, I can't imagine a company, but again, I'm not expert with this, but Align just looks like a loser all the way around because they're selling like plastic, teeth straightening stuff through the mail. I can't imagine this being. I just think this is an idea that is just stupid. No offense. I just think this is a stock that was created for the stock and not for the product. And we're looking at a relative strength of 10. So you're right. Look at this is $300 for basically orthodontistry that you can get down the street. This was a $700 stock. Look at that. So yeah, I think this is shortable. But I haven't shorted it because again, I thought some of the shorts that I was doing, the bear put spreads, and they're very conservative, by the way. I thought they were, I was going to at least get half of them working. All 5 of my bear put spreads are not working right now. But again, we're on an up day, so we'll see what happens. But and I'm not giving up on them. Obviously, I'm just extend them out. But I do think that the market is in a downtrend, even though we're getting an update right now. So does Align look good for shorting? Yeah, absolutely. Where would I short it? Well, you want to short stuff as it's moving higher. So on the week, we're looking at the weekly chart. And really, when you're looking for the shorts, you should really concentrate on the weekly chart, not on the daily chart, because the daily chart typically has too much noise. It's not a bad place to short when you have an L formation. And that's essentially what we have on Align. It comes down here, see, and then it kind of has this L shape, and then it came down a little bit, and then it's come back up. So it still has this L shape, but it looks as if it's losing support. It's losing support, and I think support is probably at about, 240. But let's look at the, I think support for Align. Yeah, see how this is like. It's coming out at the end. I think if it fall, I think it's likely to fall here, but who knows? 255. I think might be a good short. Now let's go back to the weekly chart here. This is for Align, by the way. We're looking at. You see, I see it coming. I see it coming here, L shape, and then it's kind of losing its footing here. It's kind of dropped through, but it rallies up. But see, this is weak. I think what's going to happen next week is even in an upward trend, I think you're going to see this thing fall. That's my guess. But the question is when. And we did have this huge. It went up. It was up 10% for the week. So we may be getting ready for a good short. I'm going to put it on. I would put it on a short list for shorting, but I wouldn't necessarily short it right now. I'm going to be a little bit careful. Let's look at data trace too. This is also a good one, I think. I agree with you, Charles, because this one had been such a winner. A lot of times the best shorts come from the former winners, and the ones that have run up too far and then they come down hard. Now, This one sort of has a head and shoulders pattern. See, this is the left shoulder. We've got the head here. Let's put that in there. And then we've sort of got this lower right shoulder, you see, because it rallied up to here. Now it's rallied down. I think this one also, this is the right shoulder, this they call it. It looks like we had another, we'd rallied down and then it rallied up, and then I think that we're going to see some more weakness here. So this is looking good for a short. Now, let's go over here to the daily chart and take a look. Okay, so we got the death cross, so that's good. So we know that funds are flowing out. We know that. And we know that we're through earnings. Relative strength is fairly weak, 35. I like that for a short. It seems like it's coming up to the 50-day line and then it's failing. It's failed there. It's failed there. It's come up again here. It looks like this is maybe the third time is the charm. Now, typically I like to short not off of this 50-day line, but off of the 21-day exponential, the green line, and we're fairly close to that. So let's look at how far away we are from that. Yeah, we are basically 10%, so that's pretty high. And 10-day line, 9%. I want to see it closer. We're 13%. So we're yeah, I kind of want to see it settle a little bit, possibly come down to the 50-day line. But this one also is good. I wouldn't short it here. I just would, again, watch list this one. But I think you definitely want to put an alert on this one. I'm going to put an alert on at about 40. And so I'm going to put it on about 40. And the reason, and that's a potential short. So I'm going to put that on as a potential short. Now, obviously, I want to see it fall below that that 40. That's kind of where I want to see it fall, and I want to short it as close to the 21-day line as possible. And it's right about 40. So the question is it losing power? And it does look like it is. See if we draw the line here for these are the higher highs. See how this kind of works? It's kind of rallying up here, but every time it's just a little bit lower. So I definitely think that one possibly is good. Now, would I short it? Let's see. Let's look at the fundamentals, because that always it definitely has good fundamentals. See, this is the problem of shorting it, is that the sales are good and the profits are pretty good. And we've got a pretty we'll see. The 61 price to earnings ratio in this kind of market, that's pretty high. So. But it is making profit, so I don't know. I'd rather look at one that is making no profit or very little. Let's look at a line, ALGN again. This has kind of been a tough one. Yeah, see, now I like this. I like a line a little better for the short. Why? Because sales are decreasing. They were really excellent, and then it's starting to come down. We're starting to see negative growth in the sale and the profits. We have, but the PE ratio is 23, so that's fairly in line. And good cash flow. So, God, tough to make a decision there. Tough to make a decision there. Wow. Oh, can you explain your Discord room? Oh, okay, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we have a little thing called a Discord room. And basically what it is that it's really from the open of the market for about the first 2 hours. And normally, when there's much more to buy, where, I'm showing my buy points I'm buying and all this stuff. Right now, I've been kind of sitting on my hands a little bit. Not that I want to de-emphasize the Discord room. It's a great thing. But it's sort of been flat because just has not been a whole lot to buy right now. So that's kind of the deal here. I think I can show you a picture of it. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can show you kind of what it looks like, so that you can see it. Let's do that. I'm going to open the panel for the Discord room here, and let's see if I can. Let's see if that. It's starting right now. So here it just takes a second, and it'll come up here. All right. There we go. Okay, so this is what it looks like in the Discord room, and as you can see, we have a number of people that are currently online here. Yeah, and then this is kind of what the talk is. This was showing, kind of how what the update looks like. This was a nice post. Then we did some analysis on the spider here, kind of nice stuff, and this kind of shows you the Amazon, and this is a comment. This is a great comment, by the way, where support was about 100 on Amazon. That's kind of what we're looking at, and yeah, so that's just kind of it. It wasn't that active today because it's just, we're just kind of waiting to see if if we were going to make a fall through today, and it just wasn't really that great. Normally, I put in shorts and stuff like that. I show you my trades. This is kind of some of my trades here. There we go. Yeah, and this is like what I did on the bear put spread on Adobe and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what it looks like, and that's that's what the Discord room looks like. But thank you very, very much for asking. So appreciate it. All right, so let's look at the next question. Any thoughts on SMAR? Let's look at SMAR. And let's look at that. Boy, Smartsheet. It's a $36 stock. I read about this one. I didn't do anything with Smartsheet. It seems like it's just got this similar pattern that so many of these software stocks have. It peaked at 85 here, and that basically was back in the September time frame. Most of the stuff peaked at about and then it came up here to November, and then it was a little bit lower. But this is sort of November is sort of when the downturn began, and it just followed that downturn, and basically, they had the death cross, and then it's just periodically hitting that 50-day line. Now this one isn't quite as exact because it tested the 50-day twice, then it couldn't get power, and it tested the 21-day, and it looks like we've rallied to the 21-day. Lots of buying activity here. This must be some kind of short squeeze. That's my guess here, because why would people be buying shorts? Why would they be buying this? Especially if I want to see. No, this actually has. No. See, why would you buy a stock like this? And I mean, I'm not not trying to rag on this one particularly, but here's something that you kind of got to take a look at. I hope you can see this. You'll notice the sales have been going up very, very nicely, but it's losing money. It's losing money. So the cash flow is negative. It says its cash flow is 16 here, but it's negative. And another thing is that a number of the funds are moving out of this. So I see this one kind of as a potential short. But here's the thing: a lot of the air's got out of the tire already, because it peaked here at 80. It's at 35. So it's a little less than 50%. Typically, you want to short it when it has about 70% runway. But this one may go to zero. I mean, this one very, very easily could go to zero. Remember, Peloton was looking great, and then I did short Peloton, by the way, but I supported it back when it was much higher. I don't think I would short it here, but this one probably is going down. I mean, I'm afraid to say I'm afraid to say that. So I probably would not be for Notorious. My instinct says short it, but I don't want to short it in a rally. Here's the thing about these downward trends. I mean, the problem that you have in bear markets is that the relief rallies are usually stronger than an uptrending market. And I think we're definitely in a case like that. So basically what you kind of do when you short, you have to wait until there's a rally, and then you kind of have to wait to see. It's kind of like watching a plane stall. That's kind of how I look at it. The plane pulls back and it's moving up, and then all of a sudden it stalls, and right at that stall point, that's kind of where you want to short. So it's tough. I mean, it's not easy. All right. Hi. Love you. Oh, thank you. Let's look at Walmart. Thanks, Brian. Let's look at Walmart and see if we can find anything WMT. And, I'm short Costco right now, which is probably stupid. I'm short Costco right now. And, again, I can't figure it out. It looks as if we're looking at the weekly chart here, Brian. And on the weekly chart, what we're looking for, I think this one's going lower. I think Walmart's going lower. Why do I say that? Well, because there's a particular pattern that tends to happen when stocks are kind of shortable or looking to short, and that's sort of this L pattern here. See how it kind of went whoop? It went all the way down, and then it sort of consolidates here. Well, this typically is sort of the first step in a larger weakness. Now, saying that Walmart is weak is a misnomer, because Walmart is not a weak stock, but Walmart is the canary in the coal mine for the retail sector. And remember, 69% of the economy in the United States is in consumer spending. It's in retail. So as America goes, as Walmart goes, America goes. So this is one thing that you've got to kind of look at here with this, with Walmart here, is the fact that we've had very low sales growth. Look at this. Last 4 quarters, up 2% in sales, up 4%, up 1%, up 2%. So very weak growth. Now remember, Walmart is massive, but even with those low numbers prior to this last quarter, Walmart was making very good profit increases. I mean, up their profits up 14%, up 8%, up 10%. And this company is huge. This has some of the largest sales of any company in the world, and it's a price to earnings ratio of 20. So basically, this is the benchmark for retailers. Retailers that have 20 is about the maximum that you want to go on retail. Now, here's the kind of canary in the coal mine. This is why it dropped so much. We had a 23% drop in profits in the last quarter that ended in April for Walmart. So I think Walmart's going lower, but I may be all wet. I think Walmart's going lower, because look at this chart. We have the beginning, and this is just the beginning of the death cross right here. All right, this is the 200-day line. This is the 50-day line. Why do I keep bringing this up so much? Notice how this black line is moving down. It's kind of moving down. That means that capital is flowing out of this issue, and also is flowing out much more rapidly in the in the last 50 days. That's what this death cross means. Well, but now we're rallying. So why? Well, I think that this is going to go lower. You're going to get this L pattern like this. It's going to rally up to the 21-day line, which it has, and then I believe probably it will move lower. So I think this is shortable. Now I have a short on Costco, which is kind of the sort of the fancy Sam's Club. And part of the reason I shorted it, and again, I could be all right. Part of the reason I shorted it is because Costco, as you'll notice, just had the death cross. Okay, then it's rallying, and I think what's going to happen is it may rally as high as 500, but I think it's going to rally up to that 50-day line, and then I think it's going to go lower. That's my guess. So I have, and it's maybe a mistake because I had to adjust my short, but I believe that retail is going to get killed with all of this high inflation. Now, I could be totally wrong on this. People could be switching their buying habits, and they could be just buying at Costco and Walmart exclusively. And I think there will be a lot of that, but I think we're going to go down with I think retail sales are going down, and this is showing in the charts. So that's why I'm short on. That's why I'm short on Costco. Now when I shorted it, it's gone up, so not the best thing. So it's sort of a question of do as I say, don't do as I do. So I wouldn't recommend entering the Costco short that I have on right now, because I don't think I entered at the right moment. I'll be honest with you. I don't think I did. Now I'm going to adjust it, but and I did. I actually adjust it once. So if you look back, I do have this short on. Yeah, let's look at that. Okay, I do have this bear put spread. It's not a very big one because I'm mostly out of the market right now. But I do have this short, and I'm down. I'm down in this puppy. You know, I shorted it basically far too low at 425. I mean, it's up at 483. But I do think that it's going to reverse and go lower. Now I pushed this one out. I had to push this Cosmo one out until October. So I've got the whole summer for to be right on this one. But I do think eventually it's going to move lower. I do think it's eventually going to move lower. And I'm thinking it's going to go to about 420. So long story short, I've really been jammering on here. I think that, you know, don't buy the retails right now because I can't find their direction. But I do think they are going slower. They are going lower. I really believe that. All right, Jim, I have a SPY IWM puts expiring in 2 months. Should I hold or cut the loss? Well, here's the thing, Sam. Good question, by the way. Very good question. By the way, what I do, instead of going in with the full put, I use puts to short. But I use a put spread. And the reason I do is because if I'm wrong, and believe me, I've been wrong, it limits your downside potential, and it gives you a little bit more staying power. Because if you're down more than, if you're down more than about 25 or 30% or on your puts, you kind of got to look at closing them. Unfortunately, even if you're right, being wrong can be devastating because you're going to lose. Unfortunately, you're going to lose a lot more money if you just have that naked put out there. So I would consider possibly holding on for a little bit, or you might want to, depending on how it looks, you might want to sell a covering covering put, like below where you are currently. Now I don't know the mechanics of where you're at, but that might give you, if you were to sell, for instance, let's say you had let's look at the IWM. Let's look at that one really quick. So, and again, I don't know your exact situation here, but let's say you had it. I think this is going lower. I can see why you bought a put on this one. This makes sense to me. Basically, looking at this makes total sense to me. But it's rallied. See, this is the problem. This is always the problem shorting. When you just think you're in the right place, it'll rally up, and then you're kind of screwed. And this is one of the reasons why I like to do spread. So let's say you had a 180 put. I don't know what you have, but obviously, let's say you had a 180 put, and currently, well, let's say you had a 160 put. Okay. Well, let's say you had a 180 put. I don't know what put you have. Well, what you could do, let's say you had a 180 put, and you were kind of afraid this was reversing higher, and you was like, wow, do I sell it or what? You could possibly go and, with the same expiration, sell a put maybe, say, 5 or 10 points below that and build a spread. And that way you'll get some money for that spread. You'll get money for selling that put. Now, I don't know if it will work on your situation, but they have to be at the same expiration date. Then you're going to get a little bit of money. You're going to protect yourself a little bit, and you might be able to hold on longer. One of the advantages of having a spread is that you can roll them. You can roll them up, or you can roll them down, you can roll them sideways. Now, it does cost you obviously to do that, but that can give you a little bit more time for it to make it work. I do think eventually you're going to be right on this, but the question on shorting is you can be right on the right stock, but not at the right time. And so that's why it's so important to be able to roll out. All right, let's talk cheat. We've got a few more here to go. Thank you so much. Meta. All right, this is Zuckerberg stock, META, and Meta rallied today, and it's rallying after hours. I think this one, I don't know. This one has been really, really tough. I haven't shorted this one. I've been long this one actually, but pretty much a while ago. This one is starting in an upward, still is in a downward trend. So yeah, and we're still in a downward trend, but it's starting to move higher. I do think that a lot of people are going to be buying this one, because one of the things that you have with Meta is even though their sales are down, they are still really profitable. They have a very low PE ratio, and at 12, which is amazing in the digital space. Most of these PEs are much higher than this. So I think and it's very strong cash flow. Look at that, $17. There are people that are going to buy this for the cash flow on it, and it may be, I don't know. Again, I'm just not really willing to do anything on it right now. I'm just not really willing to do anything. I'm just watching it. All right, let's take a look at Netflix. I had a spread on net. Let's see if I let me just see there. Yeah. I closed my spread on Netflix. I'm glad I did when I did, because when it pulled down, it got even, and then I closed it. So I actually made some money on this. Not a lot, but I did make some money on this bear put spread. But I did close it. I think. Let's see. I think I closed it on Friday. I think Friday of last week is when I closed it. I have to look back at my records. But Netflix, it's amazing. Out of sight, out of mind. NFLX, and this one did reverse, and I'm glad I did close this, because it reversed higher. Let's see. Did I? Let's see if I annotated this. Just real quick, because I was short. I was short Netflix. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I shorted Netflix, and then I rolled it out, and then when it pulled down, I closed it. This was disappointing. This was a disappointing short, but also look at how it has this L pattern. So very interesting there. So what do I think about Netflix? I think it's going to move lower. Now it moved up today, but I think eventually it's going to move lower. It's just not looking very promising. It's just not looking very promising. So I definitely think it's going to move lower. Would I short this one again? Probably not. I'm going to wait for something. Oh, Nike. I did short Nike, and I made good money on Nike, on a Nike short. Let's see if we can do it again. Because sometimes your best bets, your best shorts. I shorted Boeing twice, and I came out. I came out on top twice, so that was really nice. Yeah. See, this is where I shorted it here, way up here. It came down, and then I shorted it here, and it came down, and then I covered, which was great, because I covered on the 21. So glad I did that, because it rallied. It's rallied up. Is it possible that this may be another short? Absolutely. When this bad boy gets up to the 21-day, just the 50-day line, see how this works. It comes down. It rallies to that 50-day line. See how it does that? And then it pulls back, and it rallies again to the 50-day line. Comes back down, rallies again. As it's rallying to that 50-day line. I shorted it on the 9th, and I covered on the 21st. And that's what you want to do when you're shorting, is as it's coming up to typically that 21-day line, you got to look to see where it bounces. It's kind of, think of it like an inverse of, how stocks will bounce. They'll move up, and then they'll bounce down and get support, and then they'll move back up. Well, this is just the opposite. It moves down, and then it kind of gets pulled back up to the line, and then it falls, and it just gets weaker and weaker. And I definitely think that's what's happening with Nike, at least for right now. It's let's see. Yeah. Also, another thing that you're kind of looking for when you're looking at something to short, you want to see those sales growth. Some trouble in that department. You also want to see some profit declines, and that's definitely the case with Nike. The question is, where would I short this if I were to short it again? Well, where I would short it would be basically if it pulls up to the 50-day line. And let's look at that just to give you kind of a look-see at that. That if the thing moves up to about 117, I would probably be short of this. Nike, I like this one as a short. I think this is a very good short. So with Nike here, I think that the place to short it for Nike, NKE, is short at about 117. So it has to pull up to that 117 and fail. So here's what I would do. Here would be my shorting strategy on Nike if I decide to do this. If Nike comes up to the 21-day line, to the 50-day line again, that's where I'd be considering to short it. That 50-day line is about at 117. Now, you want to short something as it's moving higher. I know that sounds really, really weird, but you want to see it come up. See how the last time the great time was short it was basically right as it came up to this 123. That's where I shorted it last time. If it comes up to about 117, that's going to be the next step down on the elevator. So that's where I would consider shorting Nike. And I think it's definitely shortable because I do think that it is one of those stocks that is probably going to go lower. Now, I know we're in an upward trending market, so tough where to short it. But I do think that we're going to see it move lower. Okay. All right. I'll have another few. Let's look for Lisa again. We have 2 more questions, and then I gotta wrap it up. Hopefully. All right. CVNA. All right. CVNA. Let's take a look. Oh, this is a good short. This is the one I wish that I had shorted. This is the one that I had wished that I had shorted. I did short this one. This is a Peloton. This is Peloton action on this one. Peloton action on this one. Now, the question is, can you short it? Well, I think we're a bit late to the party, unfortunately. I wish that, sometimes I just don't eat my own dog food. This bad boy was $376 a share. Ouch. That was back here in August of last year. And it has just done a belly flop ever since. Look at that. Every time it comes up to that 50-day line. Yeah, that's the time it rallied to the 50-day line. I think it's going to rally again to the 50-day line, and that's where you want to short it. Now, I don't really like shorting stocks that have gone down this much. There just isn't that much meat left on the bone. But let's see if we can get a number for you. Yeah, 44. So 45. If this thing moves up to about 45, then you could probably short it. Okay? Then you could probably short it. I would short it off of the 50-day line, and right now it's below that, but if it rallies up to that 50-day line, it's possibly shorting. I don't think this one's ever coming back. I think cars out of a vending machine, that I don't know, that doesn't seem like a good one to me. But you never know. They could probably change the model. They are in the retail automobile space, and there are some good companies in that space like Lithia Motors and Penske. But so Carvana could flip its on its head. It's really a used car company that has vending machines and delivery and an app. So anyways, I potentially a short at 45, but I don't know if I'd want to short it just because it's lost so much of its value. Really, where you want to short it, this is hard because how do you know the market is going to go into a trend like that? You really want to short it very close to the death cross. That's kind of your go-to place to short, is when it does that. Now, unfortunately for us, that was way back here in early December of this year, so 6 months ago was the ideal time to short this, as you can see. So the death cross, 50 over the 200, that shows weakness, and that's kind of, if it's getting this pattern, and it has this head here and the shoulder action here, that's sort of the place. Now, usually the best is here, format is here. You have this head, you have this left shoulder should always be higher typically than the right shoulder. The reason this is the right shoulder is because this is where it's kind of flattening out. This is the best place to short it is right about here, and it's very hard. You got to be pretty skilled to see this, and you always have to short it on, and wait for it, increasing selling action. So the volume, you want to see that. You want to see that selling volume get it coming in here. So this was the best place to short it, right back here, right before the first of the year. That was the best time to short Carvana, and you would have made some serious bucks. And of course, I didn't do that because you would have gone all the way down here from about 220 all the way down to $30. So, 80% short should have been great, but that didn't happen. All right. Well, thank you, Lisa. That's a great question for Carvana. All right. So, thoughts on the bond market? Well, I thought I had figured the bond market out but I didn't. Again, it's just been weird. I had been trading. I'd had the TBT. This is the ETF that moves against the long bond. So if the long bond is going up, typically when interest rates go up on bonds, the values go down. And there's a lot of you've probably taken this in your finance class in college or in high school. Bond prices, interest rates go up, bond prices go down. So there is this thing called the ProShares Ultra Short 20-year plus, which is basically it's the inverse of that. So as interest rates go up, typically this should go up. Now, this moderated today. I sold out here. Why? Because, well, I was buying it. I was doing really, really well, and then boom, I got a little bit full of myself, and it started to drop. And why? Because the interest rates went up, but they didn't go up as much as we thought they were going to go up. I still think this is a good investment, though, because I do think we're going to see interest rates go up again, but cannot tell exactly when that's going to be. So I got stopped out of that. I think bond rates are going up long term, but I also think that there are going to be a lot of people that are going to move to the corporate bonds, because they're going to have very good yields, and they're probably going to have better strength than some of the municipal bonds, believe it or not. So that's kind of what I think. All right. Last question. Thank you very much. Let's look at CELH. And this is the last one for today. I wish I could go on forever because it's fun. CELH. And that is Celsius Holdings. This is the drink company. Very interesting. I don't think I would short this one, though. Because I actually, this one came out. I was watching this one. I've been watching this one for a while. Interesting company. I mean, this is done remarkably well, considering everything that's going on. Would I buy this? Well, it's below the 200-day line. Typically, I don't like to buy anything long below that 200-day line. But in this market, it's doing phenomenally well. Look at the relative strength, 79. So would I buy it? No. Do I like it? Yes, absolutely. But I probably wouldn't buy it long, because I do think it's going to pull back down to the 50-day line. Now, I would consider possibly, if you wanted to get in this one, I think you have to wait till it pulls back to the 50-day line. And that basically is right here. Okay, so where you could buy it, if this thing fell back to about 67, at about 67, that's where I consider buying it. So it's sort of what's happening here is it came down, it pulled up to that 50-day line, it fell back down. It's kind of like a stalling plane. It went back up, it went above that, fell down, it stayed above it, then went down below it. It's above it now, and now it's just bottom. So here's the thing. Expect this thing to reverse. I would buy it at about 60, at about 50. I would buy it right here at about 57 as it pulls back to that 21-day line. Let me just get that exact number on that 21-day line. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, I gave you the wrong number here. But at 60, if it pulls back to 60 right here, that's where you could possibly start to build a position. But I wouldn't buy it here because I think it's likely going to lose some steam. It's going to pull back because it's still getting support right at the 50-day line. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for taking a look at the show. Please do me a favor if you possibly can. And I'm sure, everybody tells you this, but I need these. I need more people to watch the show, please. And if you could like the show, that really helps us get out to a lot of people. I'm surprised, but that's sort of how this works. So if you like the show, please press the like button. Also, the subscribe button, too. I would extra special like that if you do. So please like the show. Really appreciate that. And if you want to get on the Action Trade Alerts, and this is free, by the way, and also if you're interested in the Discord room, that's available too. Just go to www.DallasTradingFloor. So without further ado, everybody, I hope you're going to have a nice weekend. I know I'm going to try to here. I'm going to be swimming. It's freaking hot here in Dallas. But I'm going to be at the pool, and hopefully you will be too, staying cool. So until Monday at 5 o'clock, happy trading.